What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and lately it seems like from all facets of entertainment that the big corporate machine known as Hollywood is in a time of dire change. Actors and writers have been striking for months, and most big movies are failing or barely breaking even. And the quality of streaming services vary from the rare great show to the god-awful abominations aplenty. It's safe to say that as of the current state of Hollywood right now, that it's not only imploding at the seams, but it's an industry absolutely on the brink of collapsing. So in this video, let's explore how the absolute state of woke Hollywood is currently in its death throes. And as you watch, you'll understand just how bad this really is, and how maybe we can kindle that flame and bring about a new age and leave this godforsaken one we're currently in behind. To start off, let's look at an article from Bounding Into Comics titled, Dickinson showrunner Elena Smith admits Hollywood's content continues to decline in cultural relevance. Showrunner Elena Smith of Apple TV streaming show Dickinson just openly admits that the quality and importance of Hollywood's outings these past few years are not only doing worse, but they're borderline obsolete in most cases. This growing concerning narrative is not even unique to someone like Elena Smith either, since there's plenty of industry veterans who echo her sentiments. One of these is Charlie Kaufman, who's the writer of films like Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind and Being John Malkovich. He's been working in movies for decades at this point, and I think what he says here is definitely worth listening to. Charlie said, and I quote, "At this point, the only thing that makes money is garbage. It's just fascinating. It makes a fortune, and that's the bottom line. It's very seductive to the studios, but also to the people who engage and become the makers of that garbage. Especially if they're lauded for the garbage because they don't have to look inward or think long about what they're doing. It's not just the studios churning this out. The writers have been trained to eat and make the garbage too. As long as they are in that arena making that shit, then you might as well have AI do it. They don't seem to see past the cynical sales pitch, even though the sales pitch is presented in a way that suggests they are being fed something of value. They're not. The diet is so corrupted and has been for so long, it's like if you eat shit all your life, you want shit. If you eat processed food, you crave it, and you wouldn't if you hadn't been fed it all your life. That's what the movie machine does, and I find it really offensive. It makes me angry." End quote. What Charlie Kaufman says here is pretty much how myself, and probably you as well, feel about the state of Hollywood today. It's simply full of garbage, and everything that is a big budget movie these days is either based on a worldwide IP, a Marvel movie, or in the very rare instance you get something like Oppenheimer, which is still an anomaly in today's modern market based on how well it did. And it's not even just the quality of movies just getting worse in general, it's clear that, like Elena Smith said, the cultural relevance of these films are becoming obsolete. Just look at Transformers Rise of the Beasts. When that franchise first launched their movies back in like 2007 to around 2013, each of those movies were making gangbusters. Rise of the Beasts, however, was easily the lowest performing of the franchise, and it's no surprise because the box office numbers confirm audiences just don't care. I rented that movie from home for like $7, and even then I felt like I paid too much for what I was given. And when Hollywood isn't churning out pointless rehashes of crap we've already seen, they're exploiting their talent and lying about the money that they make. Currently, as of the making of this video, Bonnie Aarons is suing Warner Bros. For hiding profits made based on the nun character that she plays in the Conjuring movies. According to the complaint sent by Bonnie's lawyers, it states that she was paid $71,000 to play the nun in the Solo movie, which, by the way, made $365 million at the box office. Her contract included a $175,000 bonus that was tied to the box office performance of the film, and allegedly, this was not paid to her. And according to her contract, she's eligible for around 5% of the profits based on her likeness being used for merchandise and performance when it comes to the nun character. When Bonnie Aarons asked Warner for details on the financials, they sent her a spreadsheet that only showed a fraction of the sales. These included posters, dolls, and even jewelry that Warner Bros. Sells in correlation with The Conjuring and characters like the nun. So not only are they just lying to her about the profits, they're lowballing it on purpose to make way more money while paying the actor way less. which is obviously unsurprising given the Hollywood mantra. But it's pathetically on brand, and these stories are aplenty across the entire industry. And when you compare just the numbers based on previous years, the box office is struggling really bad as well. In 2019, the worldwide box office total was around $11 billion. In 2022, it was $7.4 billion. Right now, for 2023, it's sitting at $6.2 billion. To really show you how badly Hollywood is doing, here's the raw data amount of tickets sold in previous years. As you can see, each year Hollywood sold well past 1 billion tickets in total. Since about 2020 to 2023, Hollywood hasn't been able to cross 1 billion tickets sold each year. In 2022, a total of 708 million tickets were sold, and about 598 million for 2023 right now. Those numbers might still seem high, but as you can see based on previous years, they're operating at almost half the amount of revenue as before. And in terms of television, actual cable TV has dipped below 50% of total users, and streaming has increased to around 37% of total viewership. And as you can see in this handy picture here, YouTube has more viewers than Disney+, HBO Max, Paramount+, and more combined. People are simply watching stuff like YouTube more, like you are literally right now for example, than paying for premium streaming services. And then you got Netflix over there still doing well, even though they've had tons of stupid misfires this year alone. Remember when Netflix tried to convince Egypt and the rest of the world that Cleopatra was black? Or how they killed The Witcher and used Henry Cavill to promote it anyway? Or how about a show about people with Down syndrome falling in love called Down for Love? And recently, they couldn't even make a biopic about a Jewish composer without falling into hot water. That movie, by the way, is called Maestro, and it stars Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein. But also, Netflix decided to use prosthetics to make Cooper's nose longer because Bernstein was Jewish. All of these easy slam dunks, and yet Netflix always finds a way to fumble the bag somehow. And the funny part is that Cooper's nose was already longer than Bernstein's anyway. Yet they made it even longer. You just can't make this up. And you only need to Google for like 5 seconds to find a million doom-scrolling articles all claiming the same thing. That the modern Hollywood machine is outdated, overworked, underpaid, and on the verge of collapse. Even now, studios don't even make enough theatrical release films to properly support physical movie theaters anymore to begin with. And with the rise of streaming, it's been catastrophic for the financial success of films. Why watch anything that comes out when you can wait a few months and watch it at home for cheaper, without strangers around you, and have it be far more convenient? According to journalist Mark Harris, these big studios like Amazon or Netflix have no investment in the survival of theaters already. I wouldn't be surprised if the future of movies in general all but erased the theater-going experience altogether. Maybe then we would stop getting these overstuffed $200 million Marvel movies that are just CGI bukkake at their best. Then you have actors like Zachary Levi just openly admitting that Hollywood doesn't care anymore and they just push whatever makes them money. Levi said, and I quote, "I personally feel like the amount of content that comes out of Hollywood is garbage. They don't care enough to actually make it great for you guys. They don't. How many times do you watch a trailer and go, oh my god, this looks so cool, then you go to the movie and it's like, this is what I get? They know that once you've already bought the ticket and you're in the seat, they've got your money. And the only way for us to change any of it is to not go to the garbage. We have to actively not choose the garbage. It'll help. It'll help a lot." End quote. And you really only need to look at the amount of garbage that Hollywood is pushing, not to mention their actors clearly not being media trained on how to handle the promotion of films. Just look at Rachel Zegler and the whole Snow White situation, which is a massive can of worms. She's somehow even giving Brie Larson a run for worst Disney star, which is actually impressive considering how much general audiences just hate Brie Larson. We're in a really weird headspace right now where the powerful Olympian-like gods of Hollywood are being exposed with their asses shown. We're finally seeing what these Hollywood types actually think of ordinary people who fund their projects and actually watch their movies. We're seeing that ultimately Hollywood and its manufacturers just hate the general audience. And of course, we could talk for hours about how everything these days is layered with annoying virtue signaling messages as well. Every movie or show must have a strong girl boss who rejects love and becomes a leader. Weak men are aplenty across media, and social justice has become more important than the actual quality of the films. Then you got things like DEI, or the Diversity Equity Index, which has practically ruined every facet of modern entertainment. Like Marvel used to be a powerhouse with the height of its popularity with stuff like Infinity War and Endgame that just shattered the box office. Nowadays, nobody really seems to care what Marvel is doing because, let's be real, it's all shit now. It's just strong women fighting the patriarchy, and when men are featured in these projects, they're just sidelined as they watch the girls do all the fighting. And who can forget DC Comics, who, besides the Batman, hasn't really had any hits lately. And Blue Beetle comes out this weekend, and I'll be amazed if it even makes $100 million at the box office in the end. There isn't just a superhero fatigue or just a movie fatigue. It's a societal, borderline collective conscious fatigue, really. We're all just so goddamn tired of being preached to. Being told we're bad if we don't believe everything we're told to a T, and these days speaking your opinions will largely just lead to vitriol and being labeled things immediately. I'm sure someone out there thinks I'm an alt-right fascist or something, because that's what society has turned into. It's just labels, social justice, and activism performances. I barely go to the movie theater anymore, and outside of a very few selected shows like The Bear or Attack on Titan, I rarely watch anything Hollywood makes these days. And it's not really because I'm picky, but because I'm tired of just being talked down to. I'm just tired of being attacked for being a man and just exhausted by the incessant, never-ending spew of corporate, woke, nonsensical talk. This shit is even spilling into video games, and it just sucks. Everywhere I look, it's just corporate greed and manufactured talking points that these creative types push in order to be unified by the message. So it's no surprise that when I look at the absolute state of Hollywood, that all I see now is a diseased, ruined corpse just lurking on like a zombie as it spews more disgusting things to be consumed. Nothing coming out of Hollywood for the most part is either worth seeing or supporting these days. The only hope is that these gaps begin to be filled by alternative media. Things like the Ripperverse, for example, might be able to offer an alternative to, say, Marvel or DC, but that's if people support it in the long run. Maybe the industry can get better one day, but as it stands, this is blatantly an industry on the verge of collapse. When the lifeblood of your content creation doesn't even make enough to qualify for healthcare, and companies are losing more money rejecting demands than it would cost them to just meet those demands, it just says it all. This is a greedy and very ugly industry where dreams and ideas just come to die. And at this point, all you can do is treat Hollywood how you would a dead field of grass. The only cure isn't to water that dead field, but to raise it with cleansing fire. It may seem scary at first, but once the devastation is over, the possibility for new life begins. We are currently in an age of woke, but maybe if we kindle that flame, dear viewer, and reset the cycle, hopefully we can bring about an age of wonder again. I truly hope so. I really do. Because if the overpaid executives aren't willing to change anything, then it's up to the customers to do what they need to do. So refuse Hollywood access to your money, and then we'll see how loyal they are when we're no longer blindly giving them what they want. Hollywood is on the verge of collapse, but that's a good thing. So let it burn, and let's hope what comes next is something great. Because I'm tired of this, and I know you are too. So thank you for watching, subscribe for more in the future, and let me know what you think about the state of Hollywood and entertainment in general today. Thank you for watching, and like the video to help the channel out. I appreciate it greatly. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.